So we all know Terminator 3 was a god-awful sequel, and I do really dislike the film. I could find 30 things I dislike about it. But are there some things in there, some diamonds in the rough in the movie that you can like? And there's so much negativity in videos from myself and from many others, obviously, where we talk about just focusing on negative all the time. So this series, also done one on Batman and Robin, is all about looking at bad movies, and they are bad, but trying to find the good parts in them and actually talk about the good parts of bad movies and how they could have actually been focused on and improved the movie or whatever it is. Just a different take, a different kind of look, helping you kind of go into things trying to find some positives. So that's what we're doing today, and it's going to be bloody difficult. And the thing about it is Terminator 3 looks a lot better now when you compare it to the god-awful crap that's come out in the Terminator franchise since. So let's talk about 7 actually good things in Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Talk to the hand.
I think one of the first things to talk about is Nick Stahl as John Connor. You know what? I resented him at the time, because I just didn't like the whole direction of the film. For what they were going for this kind of lost, confused, scared John Connor who never got over his childhood, never believed that he'd stopped Judgment Day, always had that fear deep down. You know what? I can kind of see what they're doing, and I think Nick Stahl delivers. I think he convinces me that he is John Connor, and I think his little moments of contemplation, staring off into space, you see the horror that he's been through, you see the fear behind his eyes, and you see some quite good acting moments by Nick Stahl where he's coming to terms with what he knows. I actually feel like you go back and examine Terminator 3, Nick Stahl's pretty darn good actually. There's a few moments where he really delivers the lines with conviction and convinces you that he has this weight of the world, weight of the future of humanity on his shoulders.
If you knew you were going to do something important with your life, something amazing, maybe the most important thing anyone has ever done, but there's a catch. Something terrible has to happen. You couldn't live with yourself if you didn't try to stop it, but...
What are you talking about?
It's just the life you know, all the stuff that you take for granted. It's not gonna last.
I also think he's quite funny in some moments. I also think they kind of wrote in the Edward Furlong kind of humour from Terminator 2. And I just feel like Nick Stahl was convincing. I feel like he put a lot into the performance, and I feel like for what they were going for, he was actually quite likeable. He was quite likeable because he was such a vulnerable character in this. He was really vulnerable, and he wasn't the conventional hero that we get. He never really gains confidence until the very end, and that's an intriguing thing. He's always vulnerable, and I guess that took away from him in a lot of people's eyes. But this take, I think Nick Stahl does well. Nick Stahl makes the script work. It could have been better, of course, but I think Nick Stahl's performance is actually pretty genuinely good. The next thing I want to talk about is the whole idea in the film of the TX coming back in time to eliminate John Connor's lieutenants. Now, originally, and for years, I was like, Skynet is the dumbest nonsense computer Dumbo system of all time. They send the Terminator back to when John Connor can't be located. Here's an idea for you, Skynet. Listen up. Send it back to a time when he could be located. But the thing is, I would have used a different reason than what they gave. I mean, they didn't really give a reason. It's like, you could not be located. Okay. So the TX was sent to eliminate you lieutenants. I like that idea. I like the idea of actually what you could have done with Terminator 3. Instead of making it just the same as Terminator 2, where it's John Connor being protected, and it's the same kind of movie where they're running away from the TX trying to stop Judgment Day, what you could have done is you could have actually focused on John Connor's lieutenants and introduced some new characters and kind of build a kind of group of people who are going to be in the Resistance in the future. Still have John Connor in the film, but I would have focused on kind of the effect of this destiny and how these people, enter their destiny on regular people. So you introduce some new characters who then meet John Connor, and they kind of come together and learn what their future is. How do their lives intertwine? How do they come together? What walks of life do they come from? You could have focused on the lieutenants a lot more in this. I think the idea was a good one in Terminator 3. One of the scenes I really liked in Terminator 3 was the TX and the T-101 coming for John. I actually think this film's pretty good until after that scene. You know, everyone likes to talk about the big chase scene that happens after this escape. I don't really like that scene. I never really have. I feel like it's trying to be the Terminator 2 early on chase scene. And it comes across a bit cartoony. You know, there's kind of weird cartoonish noises when the Terminator swings into stuff. The Terminator's already cracking one-liners. It just felt a bit weird Saturday morning chase. But this part where the Terminator is looking for John and the TX is looking for John felt a bit more reminiscent of Terminator 2. There was a bit of a high-octane ticking time bomb feeling. It felt concise. It felt actually like a scene that was well done. You know, Jonathan Mostow, the director of Terminator 3, he wasn't that great. He's no James Cameron. But in this scene, he built the tension well. And I think that scene where John encounters, for the first time since he was a kid, he sees the Terminator walking towards him, is very well shot by Jonathan Mostow. And I think it's a really badass moment where Schwarzenegger tells him that he's not there to kill him. I think that was really epic, and it's something I liked about Terminator 3 even before doing this video. I love the way Jonathan Mostow shot that, and this whole sequence was done really well. As I said, first sort of 15 minutes of Terminator 3 are pretty darn good. It just all falls apart from there. One of the other things I liked is the fact that Terminator 3 discussed the alternate kind of timelines that could have happened with John Connor, and I enjoyed that. John Connor encounters Kate Brewster in this, played by Claire Danes. Claire Danes is bloody awful in this movie. She really, really is. But like, I'm not really against the character. I think the character is quite good. And we get this information that John would have met Catherine Brewster, and would have then gone on to meet Catherine Brewster's dad, who works in the Air Force, and that would have been his entry into saving the world. But then the Terminator came back and changed that. And Terminator 3 is very, very good at introducing these ideas of destiny and timelines, how everything is actually building up to Judgment Day. No matter what, we're going to get there. There is a bollocks moment where the Terminator says that Judgment Day is inevitable and gives no explanation at all.
But we stopped Judgment Day.
You only postponed it. Judgment Day is inevitable.
Come on, mate. Like, I like the fact that Judgment Day is inevitable, but to just have him say it like that, really dismissive. They could have wrote that a lot better. There are several bonehead moments of dialogue in Terminator 3, kind of blow the potential of the ideas. The idea of Judgment Day being inevitable is actually a pretty darn good one. There's a line at the end by John that the aim was never to stop Judgment Day, it was merely to survive it. And I love that idea, and it's kind of bubbling underneath the surface in Terminator 3 that you can't stop it. And the idea of the film is survival. The idea of the film is the human unity to get through the end of the world. It kind of changed the idea of Terminator 2, which was we should stop Judgment Day. Terminator 3 was let's survive it. Let's actually face our fate. You know, this could have been really good for Terminator 3 because it could have made it stand out from Terminator 2, the whole idea of surviving Judgment Day, but it's not really done very well. It's talked about, it's in here, I'm talking about it. But it didn't go far enough at all where it became a defining part of the film, and I wish it could have. I love the fact that machines are rising on this day. I thought that was a really, really good idea. That's a great thing. We've always heard about Judgment Day in Terminator 2. In Terminator 3, it's happening on that day. You know, we're actually in the midst of Judgment Day happening. It does give it this urgency and this kind of idea of fate looming over and zooming in, and no matter what John does in this film, he will have to accept that fate because it's happening around him. He can't run away from it. Another good thing about Terminator 3 is I remembered Arnold's performance being really bad. It's actually pretty darn good. It is the best Terminator performance of Arnold other than T1 and T2. The shoddy shite that Arnold has gone on to do in, you know, Terminator Genesis and Terminator Dark Fate makes Terminator 3, which is still disappointing. You know, he's not like he is in Terminator 2. He hasn't got that awe and that presence. But you know what? He comes pretty darn close. To be honest, Arnie's dealing with a pretty bad script in Terminator 3. So for him to kind of still deliver as a character, he's still delivering those, you know, robot lines in a convincing fashion. It got really dumb and robotic in a bad way in Genesis and Dark Fate. And it just felt like so artificial. Here he still feels like the Terminator, and he still has moments where he's badass. he still has moments where he's imposing. He still has moments where he holds on to some of that legitimacy. And I think there are actually a few moments where the comedy works for Arnold and is more reminiscent of the comedy from T2 than it is of the comedy from Genesis or Dark Fate. I think there are a few genuinely funny moments with Arnold's Terminator.
Catherine Brewster, have you sustained injury?
Drop dead, you asshole!
I'm unable to comply.
I love that scene where Arnold has been taken over by the TX. I was surprised how much I enjoyed this scene. I remember it being quite cringe, but actually, you know, it's a unique idea that the TX can control other machines. And also, I'm impressed by Arnold's performance. And I think the way Arnold delivers that line about being a machine is actually one of the best delivered lines in the franchise for Arnold.
You don't have to do this. You don't want to do this.
Desire is irrelevant. I am a machine.
And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the ending. This is the greatest ending in a Terminator movie since T1 and T2. And I feel like this ending gets so forgotten because a lot of people just write off Terminator 3 for good reason in some areas. But this ending is fantastic. Again, it's a combination of everything I talked about earlier with the fate. You know, the fact that John Connor can't run away from his fate, that everything is leading him to this path, his destiny. So he goes with Kate Brewster to what he's been told is the system core of Skynet to blow it up. But it's actually a fallout shelter for VIPs. And I just love this because John is forced, and there's just a moment where Nick Stahl's character is standing there and the communication starts to come in. And the look on his face is incredible because it's the realization of, I can't run away from this anymore. I am John Connor. It's like a strange realization and acceptance of everything he's been running away from, of his destiny. The way he delivers his lines in this moment give me chills.
Somebody please come in. Is anybody out there? You're under CQ. CQ. Is anybody there?
Is this John Connor? Crystal Peak?
Connor? What the hell is happening? Who's in charge there?
I am.
Connor? Can you help us?
Have something that quality in Terminator 3 shows that it could have been good across the board. I mean, there's lots of stuff I talked about here. And it made Terminator 3 stand out. You should have really pushed that to the forefront. Make the film about fate. Make the film about John Connor not being able to run from his destiny. Make the film about how all periods of his life have led to this. Have other people in this, lieutenants and other people from his life, all reaching this destiny. So you know what? I arrived at this point after doing this same sort of video for Batman and Robin. This was the best experience I've had watching Terminator 3. Now, I still think the film is bad, I do, but I enjoy doing this because it's where I go into a bad movie and look for good things, and you can usually find good things. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, let me know what you think of Terminator 3, what do you think of my list of the good things, is there any other good things that you like in the film? You like the film in general, let me know. Thanks for watching everyone. If you're a movie geek just like me, please subscribe to my channel and click on another video on the screen now, and I will see you guys next time.